Good evening and welcome to the October 8th, 2024 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and Daily Record newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks to individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all of the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Marsh, please call the roll.
Mr. Dreesy has not yet joined us.
He'll be here in a sec. I just got text back from him. He's stuck at the light.
Oh. Mrs. Florence Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Cole.
Here.
Mrs. Russell.
Here.
Mayor Hurd.
Here. Since we're all here. There are no presentations scheduled for this evening. At this time, are there any reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community?
See us, guys.
Now we're come on over to there.
Good evening, Town Council members. The Pequannock Township High School Student Council would like the support of the greater Pequannock community as we hold a Halloween-themed 5K, which we are calling a costume trot, on Saturday, October 26th to raise money for breast cancer awareness. The proceeds we earn from participants upon registration will be donated to the local Chilton Medical Center. We will be catering to contestants of all ages and levels of competitiveness, with a smaller 1-mile course in addition to the 5K 3.1-mile course.
We are hoping to use this event to bring the community together for a good cause and a morning of fun. To that end, we would like to ask that the town participate by funding the costs for overtime pay for the police department to monitor the event and ensure that all proceedings are carried out safely. Please consider this proposal so that we can make sure to give as much of our proceeds as possible to charity in honor of breast cancer awareness. Thank you for your consideration.
Sure. Can I get both your names?
I'm Ivana Van Wingerden.
Okay.
Jeremy Hawthorne.
Excellent, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You should tell who you are.
Tell who you are.
Yeah, what you do. I'm the president of student council in the senior class.
Okay.
Vice President of the same.
Excellent. And do you guys have sign-ups so far?
Yeah, so we have these flyers, and then people can
Very
scan
cool.
the QR code, and they'll be prompted to register and then pay for the registration.
Nice. So it is Saturday the 26th.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
It's up 24.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go for a 21. Want to join me?
No.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions?
Are we going to make them wait until...
I would say no. I'm okay for waiving it. What do you guys think?
I'm okay for waiving it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great thing for the community.
All right.
Just
There you
I
go.
don't have to hang around.
So noted, consensus of council is to waive any sort of associated cost.
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Do they have stuff like this built into their budget at all?
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll be there.
Yeah, and just so you know, Jeremy is applying on public policy class. This is what we'll just
Have our future policy.
All right.
I'll be invited to apply for the
I heard.
youth Senate program.
That's excellent.
We're working on an application for about a month and a half.
Okay.
We voted.
Submitting
Works for
it
me.
for this weekend.
Whatever she says.
Sure.
Good luck with the
Really?
I heard you were in
We'll
North
go
Carolina.
down
How'd that
to
go?
DC for a week in March where we will essentially be in a camp with where we'll meet politicians and hear speaking everything in DC.
Well, just so you know,
Don't worry about it.
Pequannock politicians are much better than DC politicians.
I'm sure.
Just-
It's a really great program, and I think being able to add this to that resume will be great for him. It's a big honor. So there's 2 kids that are selected from the state. Back in the day, it was, I was selected from Pequannock. So I would be really happy to see Jeremy get selected. So I
That'd be
think
excellent.
this would be a great thing for him to add on. So these are two of our really hard workers.
yeah.
Well, most of you know who I am. I'm Katie Moore. I ran swim team all summer.
And I'm Michael Floric. A couple of you guys I've met before, some of you guys I've having the pleasure. But, you know, again, we really appreciate the town's support and continued support with student council.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
Chilton was very grateful because we've been in contact with them because there's a lot of donation forms you have to fill out for them to take your money. But they were very happy, the Cancer Center, to get the
And
donation.
what is Chilton going to use the money for?
It's going to the Cancer Center directly, to the Breast Cancer Center. We have a lot of parents in town now, which you probably know, quite a few moms that are battling. Some are, unfortunately, you know, more near end-stage cancer, and a couple of them are at the high school. And then I also was getting, treatments there the last year, not for cancer, but for something else, and they have been really remarkable. I think it's really an asset.
So
to
they'll
have
use this
something
money
that
to directly help people in Pequannock?
Yes.
That's excellent.
When do you find out about the DC?
Applications are due the end of Columbus Day weekend, and we are supposed to hear back in the beginning of December.
All right, well, make sure you come back and tell us.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Good
Well-
luck. Congratulations.
You guys enjoy.
All right,
Thank
thanks
you very much,
everybody.
guys, for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? John, you gonna be there tonight? I expect all the council to be there running.
I only run if somebody's chasing me.
I'll chase you and you can. All right. Next on the agenda is public comment. Public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. We welcome comments, suggestions, and questions during the public comment period. However, the purpose of this is to allow public comment, not to engage in a dialogue. If you have a specific question, please feel free to pose it and then follow up with staff via telephone or email. As a reminder, comments are limited to 3 minutes. If anybody wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized to come up to the microphone and provide your name for the record so you can give public comment. We say public comment way too much in this. All right, anybody want to come up? Vinny? You got nothing to say? Young lady, you just came in and we're at public comment. You want to come up?
Mary Kay Schmerman. I have a question about the hoedown. Has there always been a beer garden available? That's the first question. 2, do you have to have a special license in order to serve alcohol on a school property? The other question I had about it was, say somebody gets drunk at the beer garden and somebody runs over me and I either get paralyzed, would the town be liable for anything if I sue the town? So that's one of my questions. And the other thing I got a kick out of was, if somebody's drinking at the beer garden and they decide to do the hatchet throw, that would really be very interesting to see if anybody would get hurt at the hatchet throw, which I find an interesting thing to have at the hoedown. And why I'm bringing this up, it's not a laughing matter in my opinion, because alcohol is a problem in a lot of communities around the country. And I'm just thinking the hoedown is one of the premier family events that Pequannock prides itself with. So my concern is having a beer garden at a community event is a problem, because in my opinion it's sending the wrong message to our kids. You know, I've heard stories of people having parties at their private home and the kids are told, do not bring alcohol to my parents' home. And the next thing you know, kids are bringing alcohol to parents' homes. So that's my comment about the hoedown. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else for public comment?
Absorbing, not yet.
Okay. Excellent. Would you like to respond?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. With respect to the beer garden at the Hodan, I believe this is the 3rd year it's
Okay.
been there. It is municipal property, it's not school property.
Okay.
So the license required is issued by the ABC, the state of New Jersey, to the provider who participates and sells the beer at the beer garden. We haven't had issues for the last 3 years, and with respect, it is monitored and regulated. With respect to the specifics and litigation and who's responsible, it's too fact specific, so I can't really answer a general question
Okay.
related to what I would hope would never happen in terms of the scenario presented. So I can't specifically get into.
Right. All right, well, thank you very much. Since you're up.
I'm up. I'm up.
Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, the council has for its consideration 2 ordinances that were previously introduced and have been noticed for public hearing and potential adoption. The first is the cannabis ordinance, which has been discussed before. And again, this has no impact on an increase or expansion of licenses, nor does it have any changes to zoning. It specifically addresses the fees and the finance officer's ability to retain outside professionals in an effort to review the filings provided by any cannabis cultivator. With respect to the funding of the ambulance, in 2020 there was $30,000 appropriated for the acquisition of an ambulance. It was never formally done through ordinance. It was only in the budget. So in order to effect the purchase that is scheduled for the council's consideration later in the meeting, that ordinance funds that from the 2020 capital plan. Segueing right to the ambulance purchase, as discussed during the budget process, the First Aid Squad has elected to purchase a Type 1 ambulance. The Township Council has elected to contribute $285,000. The First Aid Squad provided a check in the amount of $94,424 for the balance, for a total of $379,424. Based upon a review of procurement strategies, the First Aid Squad and I put our heads together, and the use of the Houston-Galveston National Co-op was elected, which is the same process utilized when the recent fire truck was acquired, and results in a positive outcome for all parties. Scheduled for discussion this evening, as the state likes to see it scheduled on an agenda for discussion. We have the 2024 Best Practices Inventory. A review of the Best Practices Inventory reveals many best practices and some fishing for information from the state of New Jersey. It appears this year the goal was to glean information about affordable housing. The positive news is the minimum score needed to receive all of the state aid or energy receipts tax due to the township from the state is a 35, and we scored a 43.5.
Nice.
We have change order number 7. The last several change orders for the Route 23 sewer project, I rather gleefully pointed out, resulted in a net still decrease from the original contract amount. This change order is an addition of $29,812.14. It results in a $13,272.40 increase over the original contract amount. We're still pretty close. We're expecting one more change order and final payment, which may be a change order down based upon quantities. So we're going to be right there within a couple percent of the original $5.7 million plus or minus contract amount. Lastly, there's a resolution scheduled for the council's consideration for the NJTPA Local Safety Program grant application that the County of Morris is going to be submitting on the Township of Pequannock's behalf, based upon feedback over several years regarding safety concerns associated with North Pompton Turnpike. The county retained a consultant. The consultant and municipal staff walked North Pompton Turnpike from south end all the way up through the north end to discuss where bump outs, signalized crosswalks, straightening of curbs, and other opportunities would enhance pedestrian safety. The goal at this stage is for the application to be submitted. If it is successful, it would fund planning as well as construction documents. It's important to note, and I tried to emphasize this in my memo, that this is not final design, so there would be opportunity for public input as well as council input on whatever the final recommended changes are. I know when there was a previous study done, There were some surprises, as I understand it, at the south end of the turnpike, and the goal emphasized, at least from the township staff to the counties, we didn't want any surprises. So at this stage, again, it is simply a resolution supporting the submission of the application on behalf of the township by the county.
I think you mentioned at the last meeting, this is still a ways away.
Yes.
Well, we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and I hate to make the jokes about government turning like an aircraft carrier. Yeah, there's been discussion over this probably about 3 years, 4 years. The application process is for the 25-year. If it's granted, then you're going to have consultants prepare plans, documents, then that's going to come to us and reviewed. So we're probably 2-3 years, best case scenario for actual construction.
All right. Any questions for our manager?
No, just kudos on working with the county on this grant application, because I think it's important for the safety of the pedestrians, so great.
I wish we could do something about the tractor trailers going down the boulevard.
John, you had a question?
Mr. Brewer,
Yes, sir.
this plan for along the turnpike, when can we take a look? After they're all done with their design or before they're done with their design?
So as I just mentioned, if it's granted, there will be a draft design presented during a public hearing, and obviously the council will have it in advance of that, and be able to give feedback before anything is finalized.
It would make sense to look at it sooner rather than later. As in,
At this stage, it would be a bit of a waste of time if it's not granted.
no, I get it, but let's not wait till it's finally designed and then look at it.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Correct.
You want to put your 2 cents in?
More like a penny and a half. This is all I'm worth.
We'll
Now,
take it.
on the sewer project, so we're up a little bit more over the original cost, but you're saying we might get another change order down? A little bit?
Can't promise it, but it's anticipated based on the quantity, so we're going to be within 1% or 2% of the final cost.
Is it officially done?
The
Or
pipe work is completely done. We are now in restoration and punch list. The sewer has been formally accepted. Notification will be going out shortly to everyone to start the 3-year
To
clock.
start
connect.
hookups?
And some people are already connected as a component of the project or through their private desire.
Okay, good.
We are rolling.
Good.
It is flowing.
Nice,
Good.
downhill.
Get it? Flowing.
I would hope so.
All righty. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2024-16. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance 2024-16 is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $30,000 for financing thereof.
Thank you. Are there any comments from council? All right, is there a motion to open a public hearing?
I'll make that motion, open public hearing 2024-16.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. All right. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can we get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2024-16.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Greasy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd?
Yes. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2024-17. Mrs. Marsh.
Ordinance 2024-17 is an ordinance amending Chapter 119 Cannabis Establishment License and 120 Cannabis Transfer Tax of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Pequannock.
Thank you. Are there any comments from council?
Just one question, just to reiterate, this isn't adding anything to, or expanding the original one, right? It's just cleaning up some language and changing fees and allowing us to go check on it.
Correct.
And it's not doing anything.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Awesome. Any other questions?
Nope.
No? Is there a motion to open? Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make the motion to open the public hearing 2024-17.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt 2024-17.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Treasy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd?
All right, so there are no ordinances for introduction. Next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh. Gonna be a long one.
Don't make me laugh, please. Beginning with Resolution R 2024-186, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2024 budget pursuant to NJSA 48:487. Resolution R 2024-187, canceling grant fund balances. 188, authorizing a contract with ATT Sports Incorporated for the Greenview Park Court resurfacing project through the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey Cooperative Pricing System in the amount of $166,600. 2024-189, authorizing the discretionary award of a contract for fire turnout gear washer and fire turnout gear dryer in the amount of $22,750.
That's an expensive washer and dryer.
That's probably a very good one.
Free.
R 2024-190, resolution of support for the grant application by the County of Morris to the State of New Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, fiscal year 2025 local safety program for safety improvements along Newark-Pompton Turnpike, which is County Road 504-660 in the Township of Pequannock, County of Morris. 2024-191, approving change order number 7 for the Route 23 sewer project, increasing the contract with P&A Contractors of Colonia, New Jersey by $29,812.21 to a revised contract price of $5,712,513.14. 192, authorizing the award of a contract to purchase of a Bronze Chief Extra Large Type 1 F450 4x2 ambulance from First Priority Group, the designated vendors awarded by a contract by the Houston-Galveston Area Council Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $379,424. 193, approving the designated event permit application for the Pequannock Township High School Charity Halloween Costume Trot. 194, approving the designated special event permit for Wreaths Across America. 195, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the October 4th and September 25th bill lists, and the October 3rd and September 25th, 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Ms. Marsh, would you like to take a couple minutes to rest after that? All right, are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
For you, Mr. Cole, go for it.
Thank you. The 188, are they doing the paving and
I was
the
gonna
surface thing?
Yes.
The coating?
Yes.
So they're doing everything?
Everything. Correct.
189, that was part of the grant that we received. The grant was $50,000?
Correct.
Wasn't that washer and dryer a lot more money projected than originally?
The grant application included a higher price based upon state contract, but through the Chief One's efforts, he found a comparable washer dryer for less money. And so the council's aware the virtue of the gear washer and dryer is to decrease carcinogens for our firefighters. So it's strongly encouraged and required in some ways that if a fire is entered in turnout gear, it be washed and dried, because it eliminates the carcinogens from the fire as well as prolongs the lifespan of the gear. So it's a good piece of equipment to have in firearms.
That's an expensive, I'm sure it's not like a Samsung washer and dryer from
This is,
Lowe's.
yeah, you're not getting this at Lowe's.
And then I guess the rest of the grant is going to be
For gear.
for gear.
Correct.
And then the last one that I have is for 194, I see that there's a cost affiliated with DPW, or do we have the ability to waive that, or?
Just, as I was going to bring that up if the council didn't address it, if the council sees fit, there's an estimated cost of $1,150 in DPW labor time associated with the event. If the council would like to waive that, I just need the direction of council with that.
May I?
Wreaths Across America?
Yeah, I would say yes. Is there any police overtime involved as well?
None was reported by the chief.
Okay. I would say yes.
Can I also note that the fee that's paid for the license was based on the fact that it was submitted by Scanlon's as under Scanlon's, but it's really Scanlon's doing a charity.
I'd be okay with, I saw the $100 fee too. I'd be okay waiving the fee. I mean, I don't think we've, in the past.
I agree.
Do we set a precedent of
What is it?
waiving fees
No.
and paying for?
No.
Park vehicles to secure the
Precedent. You say yes or you say no, that's it.
Set up the.
May I? We by resolution
My 2
cents.
We by way of resolution waive the fees for local charities, so it's a technicality that this was not a local charity.
Okay.
In terms of the application fee, with respect to the fee for the cost of the staff, that's up to the council and it's an event by them.
Right.
Right,
I'm okay with waiving both.
I'm okay with
I agree.
waiving both.
Same.
That's all the questions I have.
absolutely.
So noted, thank you.
John, you had some questions?
A few, yes. On the 188, with the courts, now, are they putting the top course asphalt over what's there, or are they ripping that out? 'Cause
There will be an additional course of asphalt and then the surface will be applied on top of that asphalt.
But we're leaving that asphalt that's there now.
There's, I believe, roughly 8 inches to provide a base.
Okay.
It's milled.
So are
It
they,
has been milled.
are they, how are they treating the cracks that are in that?
It'll be crack sealant and tack coat prior to the,
Are they gonna put any like fiberglass mesh or anything over top?
just tack coat,
Why?
because that's how it's designed.
Right, because there's a note in here that says should be noted that tennis courts, AG, yada yada blah blah. If new cracks or old cracks appear, they're not responsible.
Unfortunately, asphalt in New Jersey has a lifespan that's limited.
Yeah, but what happens if it happens a month after they paved it? This gives them an out saying, Matt, you signed it.
That is as the document describes.
I think they have 60 days, I think the warranty.
It should be a year.
Yeah.
There is a warranty, the challenge is, we gotta get this done and,
No, I get it, but we can't pay them $166,000 to do something and they're not responsible for anything. So, that's that. If there is cracks in existing asphalt, there is a fiberglass mesh that they can put over it.
Okay.
Like sandwich between the tack coat and the next level?
Well, they put it on before the tack coat, really, and it kind of holds things together, so I would advise to look at that. Now, we're gonna be digging footings in the middle of this big pad.
Yes.
So how are we going to ensure that they backfill that properly and that we don't get this after a year?
We're gonna monitor the contractor and this is what they do.
I know that's what they do, but I just wanna make sure they do it right.
We're gonna monitor and supervise.
That's it.
Yeah,
I just wanna bring this stuff up because
The
that
virtue in the
there a while.
approach, yeah, the virtue in the approach to this side of the courts is not to try to do things in-house that were done in-house before, but hire contractors that this is what they do. And we will continue to supervise them and manage them,
No.
but it's what they do.
I've worked with a lot of contractors that this is what they do and they mess it up, unless somebody's watching, so as long as we're watching.
Oh, we'll definitely be watching.
I would
Okay.
also prefer a longer guarantee on their product.
Exactly.
Good luck.
And it
What?
just,
I was gunning for being a catcher for the Yankees, and here we are. There's a lot of things I would prefer
I know,
as
we
well,
couldn't go back and
unfortunately.
ask for, I mean, we're giving them $166,000, and in 2 months, if there's crack, they're gonna be like, not our problem.
It's a purchase through a cooperative pricing council. You're ordering off of a menu.
So
What's
you
that?
It's not
can't,
a bid job.
so you
All right,
can't
then I'm saying no.
negotiate that?
Yeah, me too.
That
That's
can't
ridiculous.
be asked or negotiated,
Then put
because
it
that
up
was
to
my
them.
only question too, was on the tennis courts, was how do we know it's gonna work?
I'm not paying
There's no
$170,000 with no
guarantees.
guarantee.
Right.
So,
And then I would ask the council to table this because other issues are gonna arise as a result of actions that we're taking to try to get this done on a time frame.
So let's table it.
oh,
No, I
what's
mean,
more
I wanna get it done,
important,
but
the timeframe or the,
I'm not giving them a pass on everything.
Well, what would be, because I agree with you, I mean, I'd like to know how much the fiberglass mesh is. But I think I asked that question before about placing the, whatever concrete work's gotta be done before doing the top coat.
No,
Instead of cutting the top
they
coat
will
out.
do that, but my point with that is that dirt's been sitting there for many, many years. You dig new holes, no matter how much you compact it, if you don't do it right, it's going to settle. Even if you compact it at 95%, it's going to settle. So how are we going to do the best we can to make sure that that's minimal? That we don't have a 4-inch puddle around all the posts? That's my question. And then the last one is on 192, this ambulance, how long does it take? Is that still like 2 years or a year and a half?
Yeah, as we
Really?
when you order them, yes.
Okay.
Crazy.
Which house is getting the turnout gear washer and dryer? One or two?
Company 1.
And is 2 able to use it, obviously?
2 has facilities and equipment to do it.
Oh, they already have one?
They have something that does, not identical, but they have something that washes the gear.
Okay.
Both companies were invited to participate in the writing of the grant. Only one responded.
Oh,
Alrighty.
okay.
Because maybe 2 has it already, they don't need it.
maybe they just felt like they didn't need to. being involved.
Leslie, did you have any questions?
said the last out, right? We just-
No, I had the same concern on the tennis courts. You know, I'm hearing it's more important to get it done than it is to get it done right, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Right.
Respectfully, the goal is to get it done right, you have to get it done
The
on time.
timeframe,
So I
let's just
have
get
to
it done
respectfully
right.
disagree with that statement.
Okay, I'm just, you know, I'm just
No,
worried.
I agree with Adam. I don't think they're rushing it not to do it right, but I don't want to just, for the sake of getting it done, now spend 170 grand with no guarantee at all. That, to me, it doesn't seem right. I don't know how to change
I
it.
will note that a significant amount of effort was put into this by the Director of Public Works as well as me. So it's not as if this was done as a fly-by-night decision, spend $166,000.
I'm not saying that, but to
And
get no guarantee
and again,
from
there
this
will
guy.
be additional issues that I'll raise at a later date associated with tabling this item.
But wait a minute, so this contract's already been signed, huh?
Yes, it has.
That it has been signed.
It has.
Then why am I even talking about it? I mean, that was my point with some of the other stuff. All the stuff gets done, just like that other thing we talked, it just makes no sense.
Because of a technicality in the law. That's why.
Then you don't need my vote.
That relates
So-
to an exceeding of the bid threshold.
So as of right
It
now,
just
it's
doesn't make
signed,
sense.
we need to
Everything's
either
signed up.
table it or approve it and just make sure that you're having oversight, because it seems like we can't table. What's the sense of tabling it if it's
There's no
already
reason why they can't give
executed?
us one here.
So we just need to make sure that,
Well, my recommendation is the council table it so that the issues with it can be explored.
Let's table it.
And I'm not discounting any work that was done. I know it's done. It just doesn't.
Can you go back to them and ask for a one-year guarantee on their work?
What do you think they're gonna do after they got a signed contract?
Sure.
how do we table it though if it's already signed?
They're not gonna do anything.
The recommendation is that the council table
Why-
the issue
Why would we?
prior to voting.
You may be able to do that, get an extent, you may be able to get a guarantee, but it'll probably be at a cost.
Well, let's table it, also come over to any other questions that we have, and then do everything at once. I mean, because we're going into fall anyway,
But why was
so
the-
what's the
I don't
reality of
understand
anything
why the
getting
contract was signed
done?
before it came to us?
If we didn't have a little bit of a precedent about what happened there.
The answer to that, for the benefit of the record, is because the time in the year is going and the meeting was canceled.
Oh,
And
we're already.
So we're running out of warm weather. There was direction to get this done, and we canceled the meeting.
And if we table it, we're gonna be into next year
And
because
if
it's
we-
gonna be too cold.
if we table it, is the price
I mean, do
guaranteed?
we really
I'm gonna have to
want
explore whatever the outcomes are and whatever the council wants to
But
do.
what is the chances of actually getting it done this year unless we have a mild winter?
It's already.
Paving it was guaranteed. The question is whether or not the surface can be applied, because that has to wait 30 days after.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to do something this late in the year anyway.
So whether they pave it
We're
now or
already
pave
at
it
the
in
end of
April.
October.
Right,
We're trying to get this
I
going.
wouldn't want to do anything now anyway.
Paving regularly occurs in November and sometimes into December based upon the weather.
Yeah, I think we still have time to do it and get it done. I'm just not comfortable with them saying, I'm gonna do it, and if you get a crack in a month, I'm not paying for it. I mean, what happens if we show up in the spring and 3 cracks show up?
Well, that's what happens when they did the first tennis courts. It was like 2 weeks later and all of a sudden it was cracking. So,
That's my
But
That's-
that was on existing pavement.
right,
Right.
that,
Well,
but
time
that's what
out,
I'm
this
saying.
is too. Just because we're putting 2 inches over top of we're putting 2 inches over top of existing pavement. It's still existing.
And we always have that.
But the only thing that we did on the other side was,
We didn't,
No.
Yeah.
Granted, it was just a coating, I get it.
Any other questions?
No, but we need to decide, are we tabling it?
so
I thought we
when,
did
when,
decide it.
when are we tabling it to?
A future meeting?
Which
John, are
means
you
it'll
good
be
for
next
tabling it?
year that it gets done.
Yeah, I would
It's
like
not
some type of
gonna be
guarantee out of them.
I would like a guarantee.
And you're
Let's
okay with
Table?
paying for it if we have to?
Either
They
you
don't
stand
have to come back to the
behind-
governing body.
I don't understand if they stand behind their work, it should be a no-brainer to be like, yes. If they stand behind their work.
What
Are they
type,
gonna charge us $50,000 to guarantee it for a year?
We don't know until he asks.
Maybe if they know that we are concerned, they'll just guarantee it. No,
I mean,
for a year.
my guess is they're not gonna guarantee it because there is an existing base that they don't have control of. So they have no clue how that base was put in, if it's gonna move.
We can't guess what they're gonna do.
Right.
I don't wanna
The
go.
best
down that
course
road.
of action is doing
Ask
that fiberglass mesh that you were talking about.
We gotta go back to them and find out what, we can.
So you're gonna table it? Kyle?
Table it.
Melissa?
Just did that everything.
Everything's just gonna go up, that's the,
Dave?
but, I guess we'll have to table it.
I don't know why we're tabling, we got a signed contract already with these people.
Well, that's the only
We can
thing.
go back, ask questions, and then we'll go over at the next meeting.
It's gonna be on for the next meeting?
Do it right.
Yeah, it'll be on for the next possible meeting to follow up with the council with the questions and issues that were identified.
Perfect.
If we have answers and issues, answers to those issues, it'll come back the first meeting in, or the second meeting in October. If we don't, it'll be the next
I
possible.
guess my question to the rest of the council is, so they come back and they say, okay, the fiberglass meshing we can extend the warranty for another 60 days, 100 days, $25,000. Do we have the money? Adam?
I don't know the answer to the question right now. I'd have to research it. I honestly don't know.
And if we don't have the money, what do? We just...
Say we're not doing it, right?
No, we got it.
You say you're not doing it with a signed contract?
We can talk about this a number of different ways, but I'm not voting for spending 170 grand with no guarantee. That, in my book, that's not happening. If everybody else wants to vote,
So
that's
what
fine.
type
I'm
of
not.
guarantee do you want?
I would have
Well,
said
make
it
sure
should
it
be a
doesn't
year,
crack.
like every other normal construction project.
So right now it's 60 days?
According to this, it's nothing.
No, I think it's at 60
No,
days.
it's 60.
Where does it say that?
I mean, how comfortable are we with this? I mean, from what the town has.
AT&T
Public Works
Sports
Director and I are
cannot and does
comfortable with
not
that's all
warrant
I can say.
against any new cracks appearing or old cracks reappearing after the court has been
I mean, I feel like
surfaced.
There you
I
go.
don't see where it says 60 days.
Hold on.
Maybe I missed.
I read something about 60 days.
Well, that's pretty clear to me.
I mean, is it really gonna make that much of a difference if we had
John, in your experience,
a year guarantee or
can you
two?
guarantee something like that in that scenario?
Can you? Yes, you can, and no, you can't. I mean, depends on the contractor and how good he is and how good he thinks he is.
That's above my pay grade.
Well, again, that's a personal question for
Yeah,
them.
that's why
I
it's good
can't-
that you're on here to see that.
I
didn't
can't
like that.
answer that question. I just,
My only concern is either way, if we table it, the number's only going up. And, you know,
What are these guys
and
at?
it's not gonna get done until
That's why we
next
don't do
year.
it. We'll be waiting till next year.
Well, it's not gonna be playable this year, let's face it. If you have to wait 30 days for the top put on it, it's not gonna be done this year. So
Yeah, well,
It's
it-
not
The
gonna be
chances of it
playable.
being playable
yeah,
this
but you
year
know
are
what, though,
low.
we've said it from the
Yeah,
beginning,
that's not
do
gonna
it
happen
right,
either,
do it
so.
right or don't do it at all.
So it's not gonna
It
really
doesn't make sense
matter
to
if we
throw
table
money
it,
on
'cause
something
it's
that
done this year.
in 1 year could be crap, and then we're throwing more money at it again.
And again, based upon the efforts of the staff involved in this, the perspective was that this is being done right.
okay.
I do not discount or discredit the council's comments, but I need to make sure it's known for the record.
Yeah.
This was not an effort done in haste.
I know.
The issue with the contract being signed, again, was because of the loss of a meeting and the goal to be expeditious. Otherwise it would have been before the council without a signed contract at the prior meeting.
Adam,
That makes sense.
either way, we don't think it's gonna be playable this year, so will it hurt us to table it for one meeting?
They were doing the tennis courts, and said the same thing.
I can't answer that
It lasted
question.
10 years, and they were done in 6 months, and they were done.
Well, we do have 60 days according
Yeah,
to.
it says this quote is good for, no, that's what it
No,
says.
How long
that's
is
the
the
quote,
quote?
it's
The
good for
quote
60
is
days.
good for
That's
60 days, they're
got
not
nothing to do with a
warranting
warranty.
anything.
Oh, so there's no warranty, even if it's just a 60
Well, it's 60 days
day.
from 9/18, that's how long the quote's good for.
Yeah,
Okay,
no guarantee.
so again, table it.
So far, I have 2 to table.
Table. Table.
I'm not gonna say table or not table, all I say, if you're gonna vote for it, I'm voting no, that's all I'm saying.
Well, yes, we're
So,
voting.
you guys
yes,
can
we're
do
voting
whatever
for
you
it.
would like.
Okay. Dave, you wanna table it?
I'd like to vote on it.
Okay, Melissa?
I think we have to put our trust in the engineer and the town that worked with the contractor, and
I remember when we did the tennis courts, they said it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be great, and to me, those tennis courts did not come out good. And they were not nice right from the get-go. And if this person stood behind his work, he would give us 6 months to a year guarantee. That's a lot of money to spend. We're not spending $40,000. We're not spending $50,000. We're spending almost $200,000.
We went from a completely unplayable surface
Yeah.
to a playable surface. That was done when?
2 years.
2 years ago. That is
For how
still,
much?
that is
30 grand?
still, that is still a playable
Roughly
surface.
$30,000 or a third of what it was anticipated to
And
cost.
being used,
I
Yeah,
think they did a
But-
phenomenal job.
I mean, it might not have been pretty because it had some cracks.
No, but 30 grand, I mean, at
It's-
least, I think we got a huge value out
yeah,
of
Absolutely.
that
that's
one.
dangerous. It has like little bumps in it. It's,
Now, with that said, if we spent 166 and it turned out like that, yes, that's a
well,
problem.
we don't know. We have no guarantee.
My question is, can you even guarantee something?
Is this normal to have like no guarantee? It seems a little.
It's consistent with courts that have been done in the area and in the region. They've done other courts in our area. Which ones, I don't know off the top of my head at this moment.
We can vote or whatever, so is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make
Because
a
we're going to
motion.
do a roll call on them so you can vote accordingly.
If the council has concerns over Resolution 188, I would respectfully recommend that be pulled from the list of resolutions to be voted on in minutes.
Okay, so let's pull R 2024-188. We're going to vote on that separately, so we're voting on 186.
We're not voting on it at all, are we?
No, we're pulling it, right?
We're going
Is that
to
your
pull it and then
recommendation?
vote on that.
No, my recommendation is that the resolution be approved. But if the council's gonna, if the council would like to discuss, or there's the chance for a significant issue with that resolution, my recommendation is that it be voted on separately from the balance.
And what are we here for?
Whether it be approved or whether it be denied.
Got it. So,
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-186, 187, 189, 190, 191, 192, 193, 194, 195.
that's it.
That's it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dracy,
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Russell,
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes, and just to clarify, for 193 and 194, we are not charging them for the DPW and or police.
And the fee.
And the
And the fee.
license fee.
And the license fee.
Good point.
Okay,
Normally it would go.
next, is there a motion to adopt resolution R 2024-188?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'm gonna go ahead and second it.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Dracy,
No.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Russell,
No.
Mayor Hurd.
I'm only saying no because I want more information.
Okay, fails.
All right.
Can you guarantee that the information is going to be at the next meeting?
No,
Do your best.
That's all we can
I
ask
can
for.
do my best, but I can't guarantee it.
All right, next on the agenda,
All right,
items for this.
before we go any further, what exactly do we want him to find out?
So, obviously some kind of warranty on it. I would personally like to know about the fiberglass mat. I think that's something interesting. What would the up cost of that specifically be?
Anything else? Because I don't want this to come to the next meeting and say, hey, wait, you didn't get all our answers answered.
I would just like a 1-year warranty.
My point is, I would recommend they use some type of mat over the existing cracks to try to hold them, so they don't bleed through, right? That's what, you don't want stuff to bleed through. So if you can separate it, the top will float and the bottom will, right? If you just put asphalt on asphalt, cracks come right through. They've always done it, always will. If you put some type of mat on it, it gets to float, and it may not. Good chance it may not. My biggest thing is just some type of warranty on this that holds them somewhat accountable to do it properly.
So maybe if.
I'm not saying they will or they won't, I'm just saying that right now, there's nothing out there that says they have to do a better job.
So maybe if we go to them about this mat, maybe they'll say, hey, that is definitely a better product or better,
Maybe.
and maybe they
I don't
will
know.
give us a
We
warranty.
gotta ask.
And again, my understanding was the cracks are to be filled and there's a thick tack coat being put down to address exactly what was identified by Mr. Pearson. But if there's a definite methodology that he'd like to inquire about, then that can be done.
Do you think,
I don't
John,
think
that we
the
still
cracks being
need to
filled in help.
fill the cracks and do what
Yeah,
they were
no,
doing?
you definitely gotta film, you gotta do everything. It's just
So
the
this
mat
is just an
that
addition.
you embed in the same material that you fill the crack with, and then you let that dry, then you put your tack coat on top, and the tack coat just really holds the two pieces of asphalt together. It binds them together.
So if you fill the cracks in, the cracks will still rise?
Eventually, yes.
Right, because you can
Will it
never
be a
get
month,
all the
will it be
way,
4 years, it doesn't matter.
because you
but
never can get all the way down to the bottom of where that crack started.
Asphalt
And
moves.
it's always gonna come in.
Asphalt moves, it's just the nature of what it is.
And there's moisture and freezes.
And you can even tell, like between your driveway and the concrete of your garage, in the winter there's a big hole, in the summer there's no hole.
Right.
Everything moves. So, I'm just trying to eliminate any issues, that's all.
For $166,000. Because it's a lot of money. Yeah. All right, next on the agenda is items for discussion, 2024 best practices.
Thank you, Mayor. As previously noted during my report, the best practices inventory was initiated, I don't know, a decade ago, and covers a variety of subjects from insurance requirements to reporting, and every year the council is presented with the best practices inventory that needs to be completed by staff and professionals. Ms. Marsh has to certify that it is discussed at a governing body meeting, and the finance officer and I need to certify that it is accurate. So there's a long list of things which are included in the packet. And once again, a minimum score of 35 is required to retain all of the money the state is obligated to give us anyway. And we scored a 43.5.
Congratulations.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
Is there a
Great job,
guarantee that
everybody
we'll get the
involved.
money?
Yeah.
I'm shying away from guarantees.
Okay, no guarantee. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Brewer.
So that is the obligation is to have it listed on the agenda, present it, and report it. You're welcome to go through it. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to.
That was a wonderful report. Any questions, council?
Nope.
All right, there are no report notices. Next on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Mr. Derisi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry for being a little bit late tonight. I just got back early this morning from being away. I did not go to the Historic Commission meeting or the Parks and Rec meeting, but they're sending me the minutes. I don't have them yet. We'll talk about it next time. I just wasn't here for the last 2.5 weeks. I think it's great that the high school is putting together that 5K run, and I'm glad we just waived all the fees. That's good. Wanted to say just great news on the best practices score. I think that's really good. It just shows a lot of dedication from the people that work for the township. So congratulations. And I do appreciate, I know we talked a lot about this, but I do appreciate all the work that was done with this court thing. I'm just, that's just got me a little bit. So sorry about that from my end, but I usually go with my gut. And I just want to thank everybody here for doing what they do and for putting up with me.
Thank you, John. We'll accept.
Thank you, Carol.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Teresi. Councilwoman Florence Lynch, please.
Yes, just a couple of things. I went to the First Aid Squad Oktoberfest, and it was a great event despite the rain, 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, right.
They picked a rain day with no rain date, but it was still a nice event. They did a good job with it. What else we got? Eagle Scout ceremony. The mayor and I had the pleasure of going to the Eagle Scout ceremonies for 2 brothers, Sean and Ryan Moore. Sean did new decking at the fire pit at Greenview Park, and Ryan did a bocce ball court at PV Park. So that was great. There was a 3rd Eagle Scout. For whatever reason, he didn't do a ceremony, but he did landscaping at the library. That was Tyler Osborne. What else? Congratulations to them. November 12th, I mentioned this before, the town's running a senior bus trip to Hunterton Hills Playhouse, and they're departing at 9:30 in the morning, and you can register through Parks and Rec. I think the tickets are $80. I don't even know, they might be sold out for all I know, but that's coming up. What else do we have? Oh, and I was away when they held the Senior Olympics. I don't know if anybody had a report on that, if anybody went to it, how it was. Did you hear anything about it? No?
No?
Anyway, so.
Brian, you didn't go in that?
No, I couldn't make it.
No, but I know they had the Senior Olympics every year, and I think it's just a great thing for the seniors, and I just wondered how it was. You didn't hear anything, did you?
I did
No?
not.
Okay, I'll follow up with them. What else? Economic Development Committee, they will meet on October 23rd, which is a Wednesday, here in this room. They'll also be at the Hoedown under the pavilion, doing a survey and talking to residents, and having some handouts. And then last would be, if I didn't mention, the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, they will be meeting here up in one of the small conference rooms for their next meeting, which will be October 16th at 10 a.m. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you, Councilwoman Florence Lynch. Please be advised that council reports are limited to 3 minutes now.
Mine was short.
Okay. Councilman Cole.
Just so everyone knows, the Company One beefsteak has been canceled due to lack of participation. They had a guarantee, 125 people. I think they only had like 35. Company Two met on 9/19, which was a change in their date. They pushed it back because of the Wildwood event. Attended the First Aid Squad Oktoberfest. Unfortunately, it was wet again this year. One of these years they're going to get it, so it's a beautiful day. So, sorry I missed the Eagle Scout ceremonies. I was on a cruise, and the planning board met last night. One of the things was Wells Fargo's getting a new sign. No changes really there. We did talk about the, what's it called,
Cottage food industry?
cottage food industry, so it looks like
The re-examination report that was prepared by the planner?
we moved that forward, so the planner believes that it comes back to us now. And then,
We don't have an
Correct.
ordinance. No, we
No.
don't have an ordinance.
Well, we don't yet, but we will.
The next move would be the council to
Yeah.
consider an ordinance, introduce it, and send it to the planning board for their review for consistency.
Yeah,
And then it can be.
it was
codified
discussed
and
last
changed
night,
and
but it's
changed.
still, a little ways away from
Yeah.
actually happening.
The next move would be for the preparation and potential introduction of an ordinance by the council to make the zoning change consistent with the re-examination report.
Should we run it by the Economic Advisory Committee? Because I'm curious how, people who are paying rent, I'm thinking of like Just Little Something, she always worked out of her house and then now she rents a place, how like they may be affected. And will it hurt our economic development in our town? I mean, I think it's a good thing and I'm for it, but.
Here's my take on that. It's being done right now illegally.
Right.
At least we will have a health inspection and a license and some
Right.
things that,
Now, are they going to be
Because
like, I guess this is for another day, but are they going to be allowed to hang shingles and all that?
No.
No, okay.
That's going to be restricted by whatever we pass, correct?
it's restricted by the state.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the state issues the license for this.
Because the state just came out and said that we could allow it.
Correct.
So we don't charge a licensing fee? The state
there is-
charges a licensing
I
fee?
think there's a fee for us, I thought.
We can.
We can?
We can impose a licensing fee and we have the power to zone, that's the control. Or you have the power to zone, that's the control of the council.
Plus
To
there's,
say where it can be done.
Okay.
and there's some sort of health inspection, I believe, too.
Don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good thing. I just worry about people who are renting storefronts, and they may be like, well, I'm just going back to my house time.
So does this mean after I retire out of politics, I can have a hot dog cart in front of the house?
No.
No.
Even if I get inspected?
Maybe clown,
You
maybe
can
clown
bake
car.
hot dog rolls.
Yeah, you can bake
You can make
buns.
Make
the
the
rolls.
rolls.
Make the rolls.
Yeah.
All right.
Artisan hot dog rolls.
Anything else?
Other than that, planning board, there was a few other things, but I can't remember. It was pretty minor, so, we did approve a new building over on,
Cameron?
we approved that, the Cameron thing, that was already been approved.
Right.
It's just because the town vacated the paper street, so
Yes,
now
yes,
the
yes.
property
So
is
now
actually bigger, so we had to approve that, but we also approved the new building over on East Garden for the auto repair guy.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Rushton?
Environmental, Shred Day coming up, 11/9, don't forget. In the County Preservation Trust Committee, which I'm a part of, there was great presentations by both NJDEP and NJAC, so that was interesting. The library is doing very well. The new director is fitting in wonderfully. The building committee actually was meeting today, so hopefully we'll try to narrow down what we're going to start building with the library, whether it's new carpeting or the room or whatever it is they decide. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to reiterate the first annual Halloween costume trot, Saturday, October 26th at the Pequannock Township High School. Registration begins at 8:15. Race starts at 9 a.m. sharp. It's kind of cool. Can't wait to see it. Eagle Scouts. Yes, both Ryan and Sean Moore officially became Eagle Scouts. It's amazing how much Troop 144 does in this town, from bocce ball courts to you name it, beautifying PV in front of the library, the deck around the fire pit. And Melissa, how many did you count? Did you say there was 90 Eagle Scouts?
There's been 90 Eagle Scouts and 46 of them went through that troop since 2011.
That's huge. So congratulations to them. Next, First Aid Squad Oktoberfest. Unfortunately it rained, as usual, but that also affected the marching band because we had the marching band day over at the high school and it rained, again, as usual. Last week we had the marching band doubleheader and they got 2 first places, so congratulations
Congrats,
to Pequannock
that's awesome.
Township High School marching band. Hopefully, I think this is going to be a great season. This Saturday we are playing at MetLife Stadium, so
Awesome.
good luck to them.
A competition too, or is that just a?
Yeah. Yeah. The exhibition was the one that we had, which was the same day as the Oktoberfest. And then last weekend we had a doubleheader. We were out all day, and they got first place in each. And then this Saturday we're at the old stadium. Next, I saw DPW is planting their trees. That's awesome. Also, this was interesting. I know you've been working on this, but you know, sometimes there's little issues in town, and there was an issue with manhole noises. And I got to say, you know, they did so much to try to rectify this situation for a long time. You know, they kept at it, and we've got a wonderful note that says, I want to thank you and your team for successfully eliminating the loose manhole problem in front of my home on Village Road. You guys did a great professional job with no issues. Thank you again. Again, I mean, DPW, we've got the absolute best. They're always working at it. They keep on going, and you know, you don't hear a lot of praise like that. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's over there. Lastly, I want to ask for some prayers for our friends down in Tampa because this hurricane, they already had a hurricane come through. Now there's another hurricane coming through that looks like it's pretty bad. There was also a hurricane that came through that also did a lot of damage, not only in Florida, but Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. And, you know, John knows firsthand how much damage this does. And when you see all of your belongings out on your front lawn, that is devastating and impactful. So my prayers are with everybody. I hope Tampa and Florida makes out well, and good luck and God bless. Moving on. Next on the agenda is public comment. As a reminder, we welcome comments, suggestions, and questions rather than dialogue. During the public comment period, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. You want to come up to the microphone since you're already up?
Yeah, I have a question.
Come on over. Take your time.
I'm glad that I made it. I figured I'd be too late. Good evening.
Good evening.
Henry Samick, 4 Misty Court, Pequannock Township, New Jersey. I have one question only. Very brief. The Project 2025. The dissolving or doing away with the Department of Education, the Federal Department of Education. All right, now we know that the federal government gives us aid, federal aid for our schools in every town and every state in the country. If they do away with the Department of Education, the federal department, where's the money going to come from to offset the money that we usually get from the federal government? The only place I can see is going to come from is our property taxes. That means our property taxes are going to go up, because I can't see any other place that they're going to get the money from. And if you remember back in 2017, they needed money to build a wall. They took the money from the Department of Defense. These are something that people should keep in mind when you go to vote in November. That's all I have to say. You know, I mean, it's important you look at these things and say, is it worth it? Besides, I have other problems too, because I don't agree with dictatorships. We fought in World War II to do away with fascism, Nazism, right? And I don't want to see it in our country. God forbid, if it ever happens, it'll never go back to being a democratic republic again, ever. That's what I'm concerned about. Look at Hungary, okay? Viktor Orban. I don't want to have a country like that. I don't want to have a country like Russia, or North Korea, or China. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up? Come on up.
For all you Met fans, the Mets are winning 7-2 in the 8th inning.
Oh, goody.
Good evening, Council. Sharon Taylor.
Good evening.
How are you?
Thank you.
Hanging in there. I just had some questions. I know there was a lot of discussion about our 2024-188. So this is just, I have a few questions. I know that you'll answer after I give my questions. So I'm assuming that that is for the courts at Greenview Park, the older tennis courts that are kind of worn down. So my question is, when was the last time those courts were ever refurbished and redone? In regards to the contracts, you post a manager's report before this meeting. So I'd like to know when the council receives all of your input for the council manager's report. When was the first time that the council had looked at the purchase order and also the contract? Because there was a lot of discussion that was going on right now, and it was a choice of the council to miss the last meeting and postpone it, and there was never a new reset for that meeting. So the last meeting was supposed to be on the 24th of September. Everybody opted to cancel it and then start now. So now you have a project that's getting postponed. And honestly, when it comes to contracts, they don't last forever. You have something signed, which is binding. And all of these questions, I can't understand how the council is just talking about it now. So that's just my input, and plus some of those questions that I have I'd like answered. And then second, I just like to also, the DPW does a great job in this town, and so does all the personnel. And I'm glad that being a part of this township, we should trust the personnel when they're putting all of this paperwork and contracts together, because they seem to know what they're doing. That's what we're paying them to do, and that's coming out of our tax money. So thank you very much for all that they do, and I'm looking forward to some responses.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sharon.
Anybody else? All right, moving on. Do you have any answers to those questions?
I'll do my best to answer them. I can't answer when the courts were last refurbished. I know it predates my tenure by probably a fair amount. The council doesn't see purchase requisitions or purchase orders. Based upon the township's form of government, that's handled by staff and the designated purchase agent, who is me. The example of this issue, the council would have become aware of on Friday, and they would not have had forward notice of. And the issue at hand is there's an interpretation of law that says when using a cooperative pricing council, any purchase in excess of the bid threshold, which in the township of Pequannock is $44,000, is supposed to be authorized by the governing body. In an effort to achieve expedience, I overstepped my bounds and executed something prior to the council's approval, even though it exceeded $44,000. So if there's fault to be laid, it is not with the council.
Thank you.
Well, can I chime in?
Sure.
So I think this is all a team effort here. I agree, and we were trying to get this done this year, and we just kind of ran out of time a little bit. But if you get, 9/10 of the way through something, and somebody sees a problem, that doesn't mean you don't address it, right? You still got to. I still got to do what I'm supposed to be doing, what I got elected to do. Now, everybody else could have voted yes. That's fine. That's not me. I brought it up because that was a concern of mine. So, and I actually saw it yesterday when I got home, or this morning early when I got home. So that's just my 2 cents. But I definitely, again, appreciate everything the town does. But I just had to do what I just had to mention it. So that's my 2 cents.
And Sharon, the reason the council meeting was canceled, there was two council members were not available. One was going to be late, so it was not all of us that were not here.
Yeah. All right, so there is no minutes for presentation for approval. Next on the agenda is closed session discussion. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2024-151, authorizing the Township Council to meet in executive session to discuss matters of attorney-client privilege and potential litigation with the Middlesex County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund? Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, the public portion of the meeting is recessed for closed session. Thank you, everybody.